Hey guys, Slysssa here, and tomorrow there's going to be a huge patch in Battlegrounds and in duels. There is a bunch of duel stuff going on to change up the meta there. If you play duels, I will post the link of all this stuff so that you guys can see it for your own eyes. I'm just going to talk about Battlegrounds because that is our main thing here, Battlegrounds. So for Battlegrounds, let's talk about the big updates happening tomorrow. First of all, Nefarian has been removed from the Battlegrounds hero pool. That's exciting because no one picked him. He sucked. Next, Queen Wagtoggle. She now, instead of giving +2 attack to each minion type, she gives +2 attack +1 health. Health is huge in this game. Health is what helps you survive, and this makes Queen Wagtoggle on the table. I would not write her off. I wouldn't pass her when you see her. I would pick her up because I think she's going to be huge. Next up is the Curator. The Curator's hero power used to give you a 1/1 amalgam, an amalgam at the beginning of the turn. Now you're going to get a 1/2 amalgam. So this is a buff because, you know, stats matter and health is super duper important, like I just said with the last hero. So this should put Curator back as a more pickable hero. Hook Tusk. Hook Tusk is interesting. So Hook Tusk used to be discover a random minion of a lower tavern tier, and they nerfed her to be to get a random one instead of getting to discover. Now you get to discover, so making her better, but it does cost 1 gold to remove the minion and discover one. So I think Hook Tusk is back in the table for being really good and popular because you get to discover, and instead of it being 0 like it used to be, it will cost 1. So basically when you do this with a token, it's like being able to purchase a lower tier minion for a gold. So I think this is fair, and I'd like to see how she plays out. Rat King. Rat King has now moved from give a minion 1/2 to give a minion 2/2. So you add an additional attack. Kind of what I was talking about earlier, health is more important than attack, but this is still a substantial buff in the early game, so I think this is important. It will be a better tempo hero. Like I kind of put him in the placement of Kael'thas, where Kael'thas gets that 2/2 every third minion. This one you could possibly get it more often, but you might not get it at all because you're unlucky. So I would put him up with Kael'thas, and I'm sorry, I keep forgetting his name. I keep wanting to call him Kel'Thuzad. Okay, Rakanishu finally gets a buff. He needed it, and his buff is that you get to target what minion gets the buff. So if you don't know what Rakanishu does, it gives a random friendly minion stats equal to your tavern tier. So if you're on tavern tier 6, you would give a minion 6/6 stats. You don't get to pick which minion. Now you get to at least pick which minion, but still kind of expensive at 2 gold. So I don't know if this is going to be enough, but it's definitely better. George the Fallen, yay! George's hero power now costs 2 gold instead of 3. That makes George way better. But keep in mind, he still has a counter, which is Unstable Ghoul. But yeah, I may think this makes George way better, and I'd like to see how he pans out. And there's no Nefarian to counter him, so maybe that's why they took Nefarian out. Yes, Sarah. So the old Ysera was at the start of your turn, add a dragon to Bob's tavern. The new one is Bob always offers an extra dragon whenever the tavern is refreshed. Oh my gosh, what a buff that is. So basically every time you refresh, you're gonna get an extra minion. First of all, getting an extra minion is huge. It's kind of like Arana, but Arana isn't great. But Arana doesn't guarantee the type of minion. This is guaranteed as a dragon. So, you know, sometimes when you're going force minion type heroes, it's really hard to force minions because you're not offered them. Like you go patches and you never get the pirates, or you go Shambhala, but you never get elementals. Well, this guarantees dragons. So I would like to try this out. It could be very interesting. All right, the Great Akamakadu. His hero power now costs 1. This makes him way better. I do like that his hero power got reduced. It will make him better. He's not perfect, but you could do a lot of cool things with him, especially with splitting images. If you haven't tried, splitting images is better than ice block. So a lot of people think he's great because of ice block. He's great because of splitting image. And you could do fun stuff with Khadgar splitting image. So you could split this big Amalgadon and have 2 Divine Shield Poison Amalgadons. If you have Khadgar, then you have 3. So yeah, I think this will definitely help him out. You should consider picking him up more. Galakrond's Greed. Let's buff him again. Now his cost went from 1 to 0. So now it's a free replace a minion in Bob Sovereign from a higher tier, but it's not going to freeze it anymore. So keep that in mind. It will no longer freeze the minion like we had before. So they kind of reversed that buff, but made it cheaper. So that's kind of nice. It's like a targeted Nozdormu. I like that because it allows you to level on curve. Right now you can't really play Galakrond because the leveling is very challenging. With certain heroes you can level slower because you're getting offered other economy, like Rafam. You can level slow with Rafam because what happens is people give you minions, so you're making up for it in economy, and you can't do that with Galakrond. But now you can level on curve, purchase minions on curve while upping minions, but then you'd have to freeze, so keep that in mind. Tess's old hero power was Refresh Bob's Tavern with minions from your last opponent's warband, and now it's Refresh Bob's Tavern with your last opponent's warband. Wait, what's the difference? Refresh Bob's Tavern with minions from your last opponent's warband. Refresh Bob's Tavern with your last opponent's warband. It doesn't say minions? Is that the difference? Uh-oh. Oh god, I feel dumb. I don't get the difference. Someone help me. Someone help me understand. Okay, thank you. Elise's map now costs 2. Hallelujah. Elise's map always costs 3, so you could discover a minion of the tier you level to, but it was a 3 cost, and now it's a 2 cost, which is nice. So that's very good for Elise. Makes Elise better. And Lord Baroff friendly wager now gives your gold back on ties. You get your 1 gold refunded. Oh, that's so much better for Lord Baroff. I like that change. That's cool. All right, so that is all the heroes. I hope I helped out with that, except for I know I didn't help out with Tess. I do apologize. I feel like a dummy right now because I can't figure out. The only difference I see is with minions, and then no one says refresh with your last opponent's warband. Is it like the exact minions? Like, I don't know. Okay. With the buffs and everything? It's not even explaining it. I don't know. Okay, so minions. Elementals will no longer be a minion type in every match. People have been asking me this a lot. When are they going to not have them in every single game? And it's finally happening tomorrow. So tomorrow you might not always be offered elementals. Yay! Keep that in mind because your games will go very differently. All right, Wrath Weaver is now starting out as a 1/3. That's huge for demons. This makes demons way better on the map because it was hard to tempo a Wrath Weaver on turn 1 because it was a 1/1 is always going to lose the battle. And when you're losing battles, you're losing health, which is already putting you at a disadvantage to play demons because you're already going to be killing your own health. So this helps demons out a ton. Hopefully we see big demons back on the table. Yoho Ogre has been moved down to tier 2 and now only has 5 health because usually when you move heroes from different tiers, you do have to change the attack and health to make them better or worse based on that. You know, we saw that with Genie recently. So that's kind of cool. I wonder if there's other pirate changes. This makes them better to pick up on tempo. On tier 3, a 2 attack is kind of low, while 8 health is really, really nice. The 2 attack was kind of punishing to pick up on tier 3 because you usually want at least 4 attack by that turn. So and on tier 2 minions, a lot of them have like 3 attacks. The 2 attack isn't that big of a nerf, so I do like the Yoho Ogre tempo pick now. Iron Sensei is now tier 3. Oh, that is that's great for mechs because yeah, the Sensei being on 4 was a really hard pickup because it was easy just to get to Light Fang on 5 and then just throw out the Sensei. The Sensei was kind of getting weak because all the other minion types were power gaining their stats way faster than an Iron Sensei could help. So I like that this moved down to 3. South Sea Strong Arm It is going from a 5/4 to a 4/3 and moving down to tier 3. Give a friendly pirate 1/1 for each pirate you bought. So the text didn't change, just that it got moved down. So that means you could stay down a bit on pirates possibly. Not sure. It also just means there should be more South Sea Strong Arms offered, so higher likelihood to be able to pull off pirates because there are more of these in the shops. Ripsnar Captain is now a 4/5 instead of a 3/4. And again, another really good buff to pirates because the Ripsnarl was really hard to pick up on tempo unless you had a bunch of pirates already, because it's of its own size. Being a 3/4, that's weak, so you need to have at least 4 or 5 pirates to make that compatible. But now that it's a 4/5, it's gaining the stats that a lot of 4-drops have, so it's easier to pick up. So I do like this change. Yay! Lightfang has been reverted back to its old state. Lightfang gives +2 attack and +2 health to all minion, or one of each minion type. And that's how it used to be, and then they nerfed it to 2 attack, 1 health. And as we've talked about earlier today, health is super important. So I love this buff to Lightfang. I'm glad it's back to where it originally was. The original nerf happened because amalgams were in the pool, and people just pick up a billion amalgams and then grab Lightfangs and just buff up like crazy. And now that elementals scale way faster than the amalgams do with the old Lightfang, like I think this is fair to bring it back to this. So that makes me happy. Genie is back to tier 6. And although Genie's back to tier 6, Genie did not get its original 6/8 stats back, staying as a 4/5, but moving to tier 6. This makes Genie pretty weak. You can take it still as a tempo play if you were to triple into a 6-drop, but it does hurt 6-drops a little bit. And oh, poor Genie, too strong. Gar has also been nerfed. It used to be a 8 attack, and now it is a 5 attack. There is no change to the text of it, so it's basically going to be a lot weaker because of the attack, but there's still so many ways to grow it, so it's not that big of a nerf, but it's substantial. It's very hard to tempo a Gar because it's just like an 8/1 unless you have a bunch of elementals to play after it. So that's going to feel even worse to tempo a Gar if it's just a 5/1. And Little Rag, it went from a 6/6 to a 4/4. Oh wow, just crushing the elementals, hitting them where it hurts. But there were a lot of complaints about elementals being too strong. I'm one of the ones who maybe complained about it a little bit, because what's happening with elementals, it's just like that's all people do nowadays. No one's creative at all because they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go elementals, and if I whiff on elementals, I die. And so now hopefully people will maybe consider pirates or possibly menagerie again. I think that's where we're headed. Eliza, whenever friendly pirate attacks, give a friendly minion +2 attack, +1 health. So this used to be just 1 attack, 1 health, and they moved it to 2 attack, 1 health. I like this. I think if it was 2 health, 1 attack, it would be way too powerful. And I like that it's more attack because that is more pirate theme friendly, where they have like extra attack. So I do like this buff. And remember, Eliza works with herself, so she's basically a N'Zoth. You could have no pirates and you could still run Eliza, just put her first, and it acts like a N'Zoth. So pretty cool. And last but not least, Amalgadon. Amalgadon used to give you a adapt for each minion type you had, including itself. So if you had 1 minion type and then the Amalgadon, you would get 2 random adapts. But now for each different minion type you have among other minions, adapt randomly. So he will not count for himself anymore. So yeah, that is a nerf to Amalgadon. Poor dude. That makes him harder to tempo. Like if you were to try and greedy level into a 6/6 drop and get him, it's gonna make it a little bit more challenging, unless you've already like established a board and gotten brand and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. This is a substantial nerf to Amalgadon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I will be posting more videos with these new updates. I will be streaming it live on Twitch tomorrow at they should go live at 1 Eastern, so you can find me there tomorrow trying all this stuff out. And there are drops on Twitch. If you do not have early access to duels yet, you can try to get it on Twitch tomorrow or today. I just won't be there because I'm not streaming due to being preoccupied watching the news. Yeah, okay. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it, and have a good day. Bye.